So to be able to take that kind of pain and rage and all those emotions that Eric kind of represents from being black and brown here in America, I was able to kind of put that, into a character and put it on screen. So that's something that I didn't take lightly, and I didn't have a process. I'm not like one of these, some people are methods or people are this or that. I just did whatever I felt I needed to do or whatever I felt was right in the moment every step of the way. So it was no real plan. I didn't have an escape plan either. So like every day was just going into this place, and I just tried to stay there as long as I could. And then when it was all over, I think just being in that kind of, that mind state, that real unapologetic, just real like, whatever all the time, kind of kept, it caught up with me and like, I got a little depressed. It was tough for me for a minute,
Really?
Just readjusting to being around the people that care about me, getting that love that I shut out for a long time. Like I shut out love. I didn't want love and affection. I wanted to be in this lonely place as long as I could in order to kind of capture the essence of what Eric, Stevens was, what Killmonger was. So when we wrapped the film, I'm like, in my mind, it's like, okay, cool, go back to, regular life, get back to LA and be cool. But it was a little tough for me at first. Your mind is so powerful. Your mind will get your body past the threshold that it would have given up on way before. Like there were moments where physically I probably shouldn't have continued, but my mind was like, no, we're almost to the finish line. You got to get it past that. You got to get past that line. But as soon as I got past that line, my body said, okay, we can shut down now. And then it would shut down after that. So I think honestly, therapy, just talking to somebody was something that really helped me out a lot. And as a man, I think, we get a lot of slack for it of, you don't talk to nobody, you know what I'm saying? That whole, what it is to be a man, being masculine, that doesn't, I don't really subscribe to that because I feel like everybody needs to unpack and talk.
I kind of spoke into existence actually, because I was coming off Chronicle, and I talked with my agent at the time, and I told him, I said, look, I just want to do an independent film. I want to just find something for me to show I can go. You know what I mean? I can go with the best of them. Because in my head, you got to have a confidence that that you can. I was 25. I was ready to. I was ready to. You start to smell yourself. I'm working out a little bit. I'm like, okay, I'm ready to kind of like get in my big boy pants and show that I can try to carry a film. And actors, like say, we go on this journey from like role to role and try to find these moments where you can like make something out of it and make it memorable and make it something that's going to get you your next job. And when the script kind of came along, it was perfect. What I wanted to do in my life and my career at the time, and what Ryan wanted to do in his life and his career at the time, just kind of seemed to like mesh and kind of fall into place.
Trick yourself into believing you're doing what you're supposed to do. Like you almost have to like, having faith in yourself and having hope, having faith, that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing is one thing, but you got to believe that this is your destiny and this is what you're supposed to be doing in life, if you really want it, and that's what I had to do. I always enjoy reverse engineering things. I always like seeing something like, all right, I know where I want to go. How do I get there? What's the creative? It was fun for me to find ways to get the things that I wanted.
Yeah, like my thing is doing homework. That's always been my thing. If I work harder than anybody else, I might not be the most talented guy, but I feel if I work harder than anybody else, they can't. They can't take that away from me. That's one thing I can control. I left it all in the room. I'm walking out, hands clean, and just move on to the next thing. It's the only way I can kind of disconnect myself from the audition, from the role, and just forget about it and move on. I don't mind going to like hunt for my food. And I know at one point in time where I really hated it, and then I started to become more confident, and I guess small successes built up your confidence. And now then you don't really mind going to auditions anymore. It's just like, I'll go in and read. I think I always want to constantly evolve. I always want to constantly grow. I never want to get to a point where I feel like I got it figured out. Like I always want to like kind of like push myself to be better, and do greater things, no matter what it is. I mean, I want to be the best. I'm a competitor. I like to compete. Like growing up with, with the name Michael Jordan, I've always had a certain pressure on myself, and always having to kind of like, prove people wrong. And I just kind of like put an instant chip on my shoulder of wanting to be great, and do great things.
I have the self-confidence to go out there and do it, to be perfectly honest. Just like representation is so important, on screen. I think behind the camera also. See somebody my age that's, taking the responsibility of, however hundreds of millions of dollars this project is, it's inspiring. It's let me know that I can do that as well. And then he also, pushed me and told me there's never a perfect time. So just like suck it up and just go ahead and do it.
Nice.
You know what you're doing. So just to hearing that from him definitely pushed me to wanna get behind the camera a lot quicker. And I think as a human, sometimes you feel like you always gotta wait for the right time, what makes sense to you to actually start executing, to actually stop making excuses, to doing the things that you always really want to do. And I'm starting to find myself, and I'm guilty of that. I'm starting to find myself now being like, nah, there is no right time to do anything. You just gotta start doing.
It's easy to see the good stuff when it's successful, when it happens the right way, like the reward. But very rarely people like really understand like the lows, like how lonely this industry is too. How much time you spend by yourself, and alone, and when things get bad, it could be a lonely place, man. And you got to be a certain type of person, I think, to kind of handle that. I was on notable shows at the time that people knew who I was. Or, oh, that's the guy. I mean, did we go to school together? Or, yeah, you look familiar. Like, who's that? Oh, yeah, that's the guy from The Wire or whatever. But that type of notability, doesn't really translate into financial stability. So,
what did you do?
Man, go for broke.
Yeah.
I was blessed enough to kind of like, after I got each job, that whatever that check was would last me enough to, where I would doubt and hope and get nervous and be like, oh man, I got to move back to Jersey, and then I would book something, keep me there for a little bit longer. Like right when I was getting ready to give up, it was always something that kept me there for a little bit longer. So yeah, man, it was tough, but in my head it was like, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. It's not just acting, what goes into becoming an actor. People see the end result. They see the lights, they see the premieres, they see the movies. They don't see the time that you put in by yourself. They don't see the lonely journey. They don't see the auditions that you go in where you hear, no, you're not this, you're not that. They don't see the moments where you're sleeping in your car. They don't see the moments where, you gotta go to 7-Eleven and, dollar item this, dollar item that, You don't, when you gotta go into a gas station, swipe your card, get gas, and then hurry up and go inside a convenience store and try to get, some chips and, a frozen pizza or whatever before it says decline. You ain't got that much money in your account.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like they don't see those moments. They don't see the, the moments you stay up all night, man, studying these lines, rehearsing, and then you go into an audition and you don't get it again and 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 again, but somehow you still have faith and believe that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. So it's like, and then when you do get successful, you do get some success, now you're getting ridiculed and judged, by everybody. Most of the time, your own people, they want to cannibalize you as much as possible. Oh, you're not this, you're not that, you're not this, you're not that, you're not doing this, you're not doing that. It's tough, it's tough.
It's a balance between like owning your blessings and your success and the path that you've been on and the things that you went through to get what you have, and remembering where they came from. I think when you're living in your purpose and you're blessed enough to feel like what you're doing every day is something that you're supposed to be doing, that's a blessing, and you got to live in that, and all the other things around it start to make it complicated. And but I think the success and stuff just magnifies who you really are. I think about legacy a lot. When you think about things you want to be a part of, and not just a flash in the pan, something that's going to stand, withstand the test of time, that's going to be around longer than my physical body is. Life's short. So you think about how you want to be remembered. Who did I help? Who did I put on? Who did I nudge in the right direction so they can achieve their dreams? Those are things that I think about, a lot.
For me, I never had a plan B. Once I didn't go to college and I moved out to LA, I was like, man, this is it. This is all I really got. There was one moment in my life, I remember right when I was going to Jack in the Box, trying to get a job, I gave my last check of everything, my savings, everything. I had nothing left. I was like, cool, this is it. And I was like, if it doesn't happen this month, I'm going back home to Jersey and I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna figure it out. I don't even know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna figure it out. I love food. I might, become a chef or something like that, whatever. Something I could do every day and I'm in love. I love to eat, whatever. And then I booked Red Tail. So that was a bad story, whatever. That was my moment of saying, it was like, okay, cool, this is all I got. After this, it's over. If it doesn't work out, I'm moving back to LA. And in that moment of me saying that and like thinking that, I got the job that gave me the
the opportunity to stay in LA just a little bit longer. Then after that, it was just like things just started to flow. So that's like the mix between how I feel about that moment of like telling somebody like, hey, it's time to give up, and then my moment of being like, hey, maybe it's my time to give up. I don't mind going to like hunt for my food. I think it's fun, that competition. And I know there was one point in time where I really hated it, and then I started to become more confident, and I guess small successes built up your confidence. And now then you don't really mind going to auditions anymore. It's just like, once I saw opportunity in, there was no plan B. So you have to start to strategize a bit and start to like, daydream and manifest and think about the things you want to do. Or if I ever get the opportunity, this is how I'll do it. And I just stuck to the plan, and obviously plans change and they evolve as new opportunities and situations arise. But, the core of what I was trying to do kind of remained the same. Watching, Denzel and Will Smith and, Tom Cruise and Leonardo DiCaprio, watching these guys and the choices that they were making and how people were receiving them. And I just always wanted to be an example or have a career where people looked at and been like, he's doing it the right way.
I can meditate and pray anywhere. I could be in an airport. I could be in the shower, sitting there. I sit down with the water running over me. And for me, that's my calm. That's my moments where I'm not on my phone. I have to worry about it ringing, who's texting me. I have to worry about somebody knocking on the door. Mike, I need you for this. No, that's my time. And I sit down there and I focus on it. And I think that helps me in business situations. It helps me with negotiations. It helps me with building companies and producing. Producing is what? Connecting the dots, connecting people, connecting projects and ideas and making them work into one thing. So that means you have to convince or you have to get people, individuals to all believe and buy into one dream. You know what I'm saying? And feel like it's beneficial for them. Honestly and genuinely, it's not manipulation. It's not like maliciously trying to take advantage of anything. It's imposing your will and with the greatest of intent to see something through to the finish line. And that's something that I've always kind of focused on from a young age, and I feel like it helped me out a lot in my industry and personally. So I got a strong group of women in my life that tell me what's up. Getting in certain situations, they always kind of keep me grounded and confident in who I am because they know me, regardless of what the media or whatever wants to spin it into some other. They know me, they know my heart, they know what I'm about. So when it comes to like choosing roles, it's like, okay, is this dope? Is this dope? I've been legit fortunate to have great people around me, and I kind of set the tone as I don't need no yes men around me. Like I need people to tell me like it is. Like we all collectively have this goal in mind of what could be if we just stick to the plan and be patient and strategic, and that's kind of always what it's been. Focus on the things that you want to have happen. The thing about meditation and being very spiritual is trying to be in line with the universe, with vibrations, with what's going on in the outside world. So it's like, for me, learning how to send my energy off into the world to accomplish the things that I want to see happen. So when I step out there, when I leave my home, when I step out into the world, it's already working. You know what I'm saying? My energy is already out there laying the groundwork for me just to walk in. And then when I get there, a lot of the work's already been done for me because I already sat there, I meditated on it, I put it out on the universe. I imposed my will on the universe.
I'm a workaholic. I'm obsessed with what I do, to the top level. I don't really have that much of a social life because I'm always like working and conspiring on, how to make something work. How do I put the pieces together? It's something that I really, really, truly care about.
I think everything within moderation, you know what I'm saying? So I definitely believe that. But if you didn't go through that time in your life when you were working hard and feeling like you had to put those hours in the gym, if you put those hours in the studio and be around your craft, how could you have the work ethic that you have now and have the mind to know that I want to work a little bit less or I could work smarter and not as hard? Because so many people are lazy nowadays. Nowadays, you have your phone. We're in a culture where nobody really works hard. They have instant success. They could do a video right now that goes viral and the next week and they're famous and they have money and they get money for posts and they can survive off that. So it's like, I think we live in a society nowadays where hard work is lost.
And that realization of, mortality, and people move on and life goes on, and people might forget about you in moments of time. Doesn't mean that you're not important. Doesn't mean that the love or that bond or that relationship wasn't there. It just, there's the reality of that. So that fear is something that I think in moments pushes you to make your life worth it, to make every moment count, to leave something behind.
that you could be proud of, that other people could look to and be, inspired by. I know me, I'm learning things for the first time that a lot of my family hasn't had the opportunity to be exposed to. So that pressure of knowing that and not caring about it, I think is irresponsible. So, there's a motivation of, I want these nice things, or I want to be comfortable. But it also comes in as like, I can't even enjoy this comfort if my family's not straight. Like, what do I look like living here, feeling like this, having these things?
It would mean nothing.
If they don't have that and are able to share these experiences with me. And then it trickles down to the bigger picture of like, when I do have kids, when I do have, grandchildren and this and that, and how do I make sure that they don't have to burden the things that I've had to experience growing up and starting over and having, just all those things. I never chased money. Like, money has never been my thing. It's always been like, I want to like build something. You know what I'm saying? I want to build something that lasts forever. How do I become lead man? It's like, okay, cool. I got to like do projects that's constantly put me in this light, or like moving me in such a way where I'll always be respected in a certain sense. You know what I mean? And I never wanted to play stereotypical roles, and even the ones that I did play, they stood the test of time. How do I become universal? That's always been my thing. Is like, I wanted to be universal. I wanted to be international. International is kind of something I've always thought about. Why doesn't the stereotype of black films or black actors don't travel overseas? Something really bothered me. And I was like, damn, well, how do I get around that? It's a fine line between being passionate, obsessed, and like never giving up on your dream, and being realistic about certain things. It's weird because you almost have to be insane a little bit to have such blind faith in something that you can't see. There have been times where people give up right before they're about to get whatever they need to get. Like, damn, you right there, you right on the door. And it's always the toughest when you're like right there, when you're about to say, I'm about to walk away. But then if you would have kept going just a little bit longer, everything would have opened up for you. So it's a real fine line between, walking your path and saying that I'm done. For me, there comes a point where you got to be real with yourself. Also look at yourself in the mirror and be like, okay, maybe this isn't for me. Let me figure out what is for me. And then, once you're going down that path, you rarely go down one path and be like, okay, this is what I'm going to do and this is the end all be all. You go down a path, and then as you're walking, you might get pushed this way or pushed that way. That might end up being your calling. Like you try out, you shoot for the stars, but if you miss, you're still up in that space, so like you got to just, you got to have trust in yourself and just go for it.